Pelosi said, you don't have the votes in Congress. I will tell you what I was proud of. I was never more proud of my Republican Party and those congressmen and women when
So
they saw
illustrious
that
president.
and they got together and they voted 217 to 185, and it wasn't even close. That was an incredible day. That when she said you couldn't get the vote, and I'm not holding that against her, because despite the fact that I'm not saying it was an easy meeting or even a kind meeting or a nice meeting, but in the end, I think we've come a long way. We're going to be working very hard over the weekend, and we'll see if we can do something. So you can call it whatever you want. You can call it the Schumer or the Pelosi or the Trump shutdown. Doesn't make any difference to me. Just words.
My second question, sir. Mr. President,
Yeah, just 1 second. Just 1 second, please.
Worst way.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. Two questions, just to follow up. Are you open to a path to citizenship in theory for DACA recipients? And then, can you explain to federal employees
Our
of the
president
agencies that are closed, which are not Homeland Security,
is an idiot.
why those agencies should stay closed? Homeland Security is significant in of itself if it stayed closed.
Because we want what's right, and we want to do it all at one time. We don't want to take it in pieces. We just don't want to do that. And DACA is going to be a great subject. I look forward to discussing it. We'll discuss it at another time. But there are a lot of great things that can happen with DACA if the Democrats want to do that. I think what we're all waiting for, to be honest, is the Supreme Court the Supreme Court justices ruling in a not very long period of time. As you know, it's up now. Hopefully, they will be making a ruling maybe sometime in the summer. So I think before we discuss too much DACA, I would like to see what happens. I think it's a very important decision because, frankly, if they rule the way it is, it gives the president too much power. Can you imagine me saying that? But I would be entitled to the same power. It's not a correct thing that took place. And President Obama never felt it was going to hold up, and it held up. But I don't think it's going to hold up at the Supreme Court. If it doesn't hold up, you're going to see a lot of good things happening, because you'll be having DACA, and you'll be putting other things with DACA. Hopefully, by that time, the wall will be well under construction. And just a little statement on that. We've already built a lot of the wall. We've been working very, very hard. We've renovated a tremendous amount of wall. A lot of wall in San Diego, where we needed it very badly, where they wanted it very badly. So we haven't been sitting still for the first, believe it or not, less than 2 years. We've been working very, very hard. The wall is, we've got a lot of miles of wall already. So we're not just starting off fresh, but we have large numbers of miles that we have to do. And we can't let gaps, because if you have gaps, those people are going to turn their vehicles, or the gangs are coming in through those gaps, and we cannot let that happen.
Guy doesn't know what he wants to do.
Kevin.
Thank you, Mr. President. Appreciate that. Question about government employees. What is your personal message to those who are impacted by the shutdown? And if you wouldn't mind, if you could comment on the remarks made by a freshman congressperson about impeachment involving a bit of a profanity.
Oh, you want to impeach me? Oh, whatever.
Impeach somebody that's doing a great job. That's the way I view it. I've probably done more in the first 2 years than any president, any administration in the history of our country. You look at tax cuts, you look at regulations, you look at what we've done for the vets, you look at the rebuilding of the military, and the numbers that we're talking about, and many other things. I could give you a list, it's pages long. So I think it's very hard to impeach somebody who's done a great job. That's number one. And we even talked about that today. I said, why don't you use this for impeachment? And Nancy said, we're not looking to impeach you. I said, that's good, Nancy, that's good. But you know what? You don't impeach people when they're doing a good job. And you don't impeach people when there was no collusion, because there was no collusion. You know Russians better than I do, Kevin, okay? There was no collusion. I didn't need Russians to help me win Iowa. I didn't need Russians to help me win the great state of Wisconsin and Michigan and Pennsylvania. I won them because I went there and I campaigned hard. And my opponent didn't go there enough. And she lost a lot of good states. A lot of states that for many, many years, for decades, have gone Democrat. They went Republican. That's why I won. Not because of not because of Russia.
Your comment about the freshman congressperson's comments specifically.
Well, I thought her comments were disgraceful. This is a person that I don't know. I assume she's new. I think she dishonored herself, and I think she dishonored her family. Using language like that in front of her son and whoever else was there, I thought that was a great dishonor to her and to her family. I thought it was highly disrespectful to the United States of America. Yes. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. Earlier this week, you repeated your claim that through the USMCA, Mexico will be paying
That's
for
right.
the wall. Can you describe in detail the specific mechanisms in the trade deal that will
Well, you're
make
going to be seeing it very
Mexico
soon.
pay for the wall?
We made a new deal, a new trade deal. NAFTA has been one of the great disasters of all time, probably the worst trade deal ever made, maybe. Millions of jobs, thousands and thousands of companies. NAFTA left our country dry. NAFTA was a disaster. I campaigned on either terminating or renegotiating NAFTA. And Bob Lighthizer and Jared Kushner and a whole group of people did an incredible job. They did an incredible job. And now we have a deal that's great for our country. And by the way, good for Mexico, good for Canada also. As you know, it's the three countries. We will be taking in billions and billions of dollars more money for the United States, including jobs, including companies that won't be leaving us anymore and going to Mexico and in some cases Canada to a lesser extent. But we lost 25% of our car business because of NAFTA. NAFTA was a disaster. Now we have the USMCA, United States, Mexico, and Canada trade agreement. It's brand new. It's totally different. It makes it very difficult for companies to incentivize, move to other countries. And we will be making billions and billions of dollars a year more money.
So why don't
And
you
that
pay
is
for the wall?
paying, excuse me, because I didn't have to. That is paying for the wall. Many, many times over. In fact, what we save on the USMCA, the new trade deal we have with Mexico and Canada, what we save on that just with Mexico will pay for the wall many times over just in a period of a year, 2 years, and 3 years. So I view that as absolutely Mexico is paying for the wall, and that's fine.
Will you be pressuring Putin?
Yes, ma'am. Go.
You ran your campaign promising supporters that Mexico is going to pay for the
Oh,
wall
here
and
we
that
go
the
again.
wall was going to be made of concrete. You just said earlier that the wall could be made of steel, and right now our government is shut down over a demand from your administration that the American taxpayer pay for the wall. So how can you say you're not failing on that promise to your supporters?
Very nice question, so beautifully asked. Even though I just answered.
You didn't
Look,
answer.
let me
The
just say,
USMCA
excuse me,
has not even
excuse
passed
me,
Congress
excuse me,
yet,
you
sir.
ready? Are you ready? I just told you that we just made a trade deal. And we will take in billions and billions of dollars, far more than the cost of the wall. The wall is peanuts compared to what the value of this trade deal is to the United States. As far as concrete, I said I was going to build a wall. I never said, I'm going to build a concrete. I said I'm going to build a wall.
You said
Just so you know, because I know you're not into the construction business, you don't understand something. We now have a great steel business that's rebuilt in the United States.
What?
Steel is stronger than concrete.
What are you
If
talking
I
about?
build this wall or fence or anything the Democrats need to call it, because I'm not into names, I'm into production. I'm into
Of what,
something that
though?
works. If I build a steel wall rather than a concrete wall, it will actually be stronger than a concrete. Steel is stronger than concrete, okay? In case you can check it out. Listen, if I build a wall and the wall is made out of steel instead of concrete, I think people will like that. And here's the other good thing. I'll have it done by the United States Steel Corporation, by companies in our country that are now powerful, great companies again. And they've become powerful over the last 2 years because of me and because of our policies. So if I have a steel wall, or you could call it a steel fence, but it'll be more powerful than any of the concrete walls that we're talking about. It's possible that it will look better. And one of the things, I think you have seen this, that's very important for us, very, very important, in speaking to Border Patrol, ICE, and actually local law enforcement, and even military, they want to see through it. You can't really see through a concrete wall. They want to be able to see who's on the other side of the wall. Because if they're here and you have about a 12-inch concrete wall and you have people on the other side, but you can't see what's over there, it's very dangerous. They want to be able to see through the wall. A see-through wall made out of steel is far stronger than a concrete wall. So I'm very happy with it. I think, I'm not sure, but I think that's what the Democrats prefer. And if it can get them there, I'm okay. It actually will be a more powerful wall, and it will be a more beautiful wall than having a concrete wall.
So it's a new trade deal, Mr. President.
Jeff,
Mr.
Jeff, go
President,
ahead.
it's a new trade deal.
Mr. President,
Go ahead.
you,
Go ahead, Jeff.
you mentioned China, sir, in your remarks. Are you concerned about the words and the actions of Apple this week with regard to revenue? And can you tell us what sort of progress you meant when you were referring to trade talks with China?
Well, I think we're doing very well. China's paying us tremendous tariffs. We're getting billions and billions of dollars of money pouring into the Treasury of the United States, which in history we've never gotten from China, as you know. It's been very unfair. I had a fantastic meeting with President Xi, who I both like and respect. One of the things that came out of that meeting was fentanyl. As you know, almost all of it comes from China. And he's going to now
But I don't
criminalize
see him.
the making of fentanyl.
But didn't he just say, wait a
And
minute,
unlike our country,
wait a minute,
they have
Wait a minute.
unbelievable...
wait a minute, wait a minute. He just said that they received, let me go back. Make sure I heard this idiot correctly.
Getting billions and billions of dollars of money pouring into the Treasury of the United States, which in history we've never gotten from China, as you know. It's been very unfair. I had a fantastic meeting with President Xi, who I both like and respect. One of the things that came out of that meeting was fentanyl. As you know, almost all of it comes from China. And he's going to now criminalize the making of fentanyl. And unlike our country, they have unbelievably strong prohibitions about drugs. It was not on their list. They view it as I guess, as some kind of a commercial product. Now they view it as something that's very dangerous. They're going to be changing their laws to make fentanyl a criminal process if you're making fentanyl. If they do that, you know what their ultimate is. It's called the death penalty. I think that could have a tremendous, and I thank President Xi very much. So the first question I said to him before we started the trade talks in Argentina, this was a meeting that was supposed to last for about 45 minutes, and it ended up being almost 4 hours. Some of you were there. It was a great meeting. We'll see what happens. You never know with the deal. But I will tell you, China is not doing well now, and it puts us in a very strong position. We are doing very well. But we're taking in billions and billions of dollars, and I hope we're going to make a deal with China. And if we don't, they're paying us tens of billions of dollars worth of tariffs. Not the worst thing in the world. But I think we will make a deal with China. I really think they want to. I think they sort of have to. And I think we're going to have a great relationship. I think that President Xi and myself have a great relationship. Also, North Korea, we're doing very well with North Korea. Good relationship also.
Mr. President,
Go
just
ahead,
to follow
one more quick one, go ahead.
follow up, sir. Apple issued a revenue warning this week, which led its stock to go down and the rest of the stock market to go down as well. Are you concerned about that?